I'm in. So, now an intro for YouTube. Hello YouTube. Today I react here on stream on what made Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition a big deal. And yes, this is one of my titles of my childhood, because I played this here much on my PS2 at the time there. And yeah, I don't will talk too much, and I would say here we go. And yeah. Oh, and before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe my channel here, and take a sub there, and don't forget yeah, to activate the bell. Oh, and yeah, links are in the description, or nearly in the description. Hello. Yeah, and here too. So, and then
Before the video continues, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell, and drop a comment, so algorithm loves it. Also make sure to follow me on Twitch. I'm live every weekend, Friday through Sunday, from 6 PM to 11 PM UTC+1. And don't forget to follow me on my social media channels too. Now back to the video.
I would say here we go.
Ago in a galaxy really far away and seemingly in a completely different dimension in our own, Rockstar
intro.
Games
I like
made
it.
a bunch of racing games. No,
Bam,
not
bam.
stealing cars and racing them,
Bam,
just some straight
bam.
up.
This is the soundtrack of my childhood. Dan, 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 damn. Oh, what's the sound was? Maybe I'd like
Need for Speed, Fast and the Furious type stuff. Yeah, we're talking about the Midnight Club racing games, and they were great. Now, eventually, we're planning.
Yeah, this was actually great. You had bunch of cars, much of bikes, supercars, muscle cars, and much tuning in there. To say that Midnight Club doesn't exist anymore, or that Rockstar Games don't make a new title here.
To talk about all of them. We really like each and every single one.
Yeah.
Today, specifically, we
LA is nice too.
wanted to talk about Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
So you're baby's boy, huh? The one who sends us into cars. Cool. So what you into, home?
Now, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition released on PlayStation 2 and Xbox in April of 2005 in North America. It had to follow
And
PlayStation 2 and
on this year I played this game. The nostalgia came up here.
Xbox in April of 2005 in North America. It had to follow up the extremely fantastic Midnight Club 2 from 2003. Now, this game's subtitle, Dub Edition, wasn't just a special edition version of the game with like different box art or something, which I'll admit as a dumb kid at Blockbuster looking at the game on the shelf, I was really confused. But Dub Edition was Midnight Club 3, and it signified a partnership collaboration between Rockstar Games and Dub Magazine. It was a magazine and a brand bigger in the 2000s that
Dub. Oh, this looks awesome. To say this kind of games don't exist anymore. I mean, the new Need for Speed titles are okay with the tuning, but this year you can make the craziest shit. In the newer Need for Speed titles, maybe yeah, you make good stuff too, but in the another what's called here. But today, the tuning is not the same as that was.
Focused on custom streetcar culture and the car lifestyle in cities. The dub branding and the vibe was sprinkled throughout the game in menus and stuff, but ultimately, 3 had way less personality than 2. 2 had more memorable racers with a bit more personality and voice acting. Some people preferred the soundtrack, but where 3 may feel slightly different from 2, it makes up for it in the racing and the customization.
Yeah, sadly,
department.
Yeah, it seems you understand my issue with the good old games.
Midnight Club 3 was the first Midnight Club game to focus on car customization, and hot damn, it was pretty good. There was performance stuff and there was cosmetics.
Not a good. The only car that I never. Yeah, cool. The only car that I never pick up in any racing game a Volkswagen. This is not a tuner car, this is a car for old men.
Stuff. Now, with performance, you could essentially buy upgrade levels
This
or
year
tiers for
is a-
things like your intake, headers, nitrous, your computer, exhaust, turbo, tires, and brakes to make your car faster and handle better. It costs a lot.
Hey, that is my first car. Sorry that sorry, but the Volkswagen. This was a Golf 4, if I'm right. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I very, 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 very dislike Volkswagen. I mean, very.
But it was fun to really earn your way there and really feel a difference and get an advantage.
So, mostly I take there the Impala or the another car in Midnight Club. I'm a huge muscle car fan, by the way, so I take the muscle cars. Yeah, I take this with humor.
On the visual side, you're adding bumpers front and back, body kits, spoilers, wheels, tires, the ride height, paints of all different kinds, lighting, window tint, and vinyls, of course. Customization-wise, it was pretty solid and up there and able to compete with other games of this style.
Oh.
You could get yourself like a Nissan Skyline or a Toyota Supra and completely transform it. The game
Yeah.
goes a step further.
And this was make this game here fucking unique. More than any Need for Speed, except from Underground 2 maybe, but I must play Underground 2 sometimes. I never played it, but I heard many good stuff about this. Is the big rival to Most Wanted.
Gives you SUVs, muscle cars, motorcycles and stuff. There were actually over 60 different vehicles in 7 different categories. Tuners, luxury.
And it works in this game. Not in much newer game. Take here Need for Speed Heat, for example. I don't play the newest Need for Speed, so I don't I've completely forget this name. But in NFS Heat, for example, you have muscle cars, you have SUVs, etc., etc. But they don't fit so really. I don't know. They don't have the same vibe as in Midnight Club 3.
Luxury sedans, SUVs, exotics, muscle cars, sport bikes, and choppers. And it really made a difference that they were all licensed and real-world vehicles, down to smaller choppers that were custom built and made in different shops around the country. But large brands or small brands, it really helped having those licensed vehicles. It was kind of like the one thing that the previous games were.
And here's GMC. Cars that usually not in a racing game. So, and Midnight
So you
Club.
take these vehicles and you race through open world San Diego, Atlanta, and Detroit. Because of the design, the races were open-ended, so you were guided by flares and not invisible walls. So you could take your own route through a city as long as you ended up hitting the checkpoints and or crossing the finish line, and you're good. This wasn't necessarily a totally new concept, but it was refreshing amidst all the other street racer type.
Yeah, actually, I like both concepts. The Need for Speed concept from here, from Most Wanted or Underground, who you have strict routes to your goal with some shortcuts, or this year in Midnight Club 3, how you have some, you decide your own way. One way is faster, the other is not so fast. But hey, modern games take this concept and make it more worse than this very, very old fucking good game.
Games at the time. There were also timed, more traditional races and sprints too. The cities were filled with fun shortcuts to discover and learn the ins and outs of. There were jumps, tight alleyways and squeezes, and just some good old-fashioned racing stuff. And plus, driving around more in the leisurely cruise mode.
Underground was my one of my first racing games. So then you have a good taste of games, Lila. then you have a fucking good taste of games. My first racing game, if I remember, was the second Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I mean, this was from 98, if I remember right. Yeah. So we understand us, and yeah, the new Need for Speeds are the map, but Underground, Most Wanted, one of my my favorite game here of all time, by the way. Or here, Need for Speed. This came out 2007. Here, who you make legal racing. This was here, Need for Speed. The 2007 Need for Speed. I like very much too, but Midnight Club. This is very, very childhood.
Mode let you find hidden collectibles. You jump into the main thing though, career mode, and race your way up the ladder. It's really simple, and there's not a lot of story, not a lot of cringe-inducing dialogue or characters or anything. You're really just doing the thing, racing and earning. And
this is what you must make, and this is what a game make good. Simple, understandable stories without any big issues and another stuff. Second, I must take out the cat of my mom. The cat like it in my room here under my bed. I don't know why, but yeah.
unlocking cars, and of course, tons of cash to then upgrade the cars. The races were incredibly high speed, and if you can't tell from the gameplay here, this was more of an arcade-style racing.
Yeah, and this was really, really fun, this arcade-style racing.
Not exactly highly realistic, you know, way more of an emphasis on fun, speed, chaos, and drifting and drafting. You know, taking those turns wasn't exactly realistic.
And this makes a fucking good game flow. You're drifting, you're racing, I don't know. You're making very, very, very cool stuff in your game, and you have a fucking cool flow. Not some issues of you don't must think about brakes. Brakes are for losers. You race straight. You're drifting. Everything what you need is speed.
In any way, but it was fun as hell to drift, and honestly, sometimes that can be more important depending on what type of racing games you enjoy, or at least what kind of high-speed action you're looking for. Every Midnight Club game featured larger-than-life abilities you could use mid-race, too, that were really, really over the top, but actually useful. Dub editions were probably the most straightforward, but also the most broadly useful. You had aggro, roar, and zone.
Yeah,
and they were all
make really, really fun
categories. Aggro, for example, used mostly for the larger vehicles like the SUVs, was an aggressive shield that allowed you to crash into other racers or pedestrian vehicles, and they would get pushed away from you, and you would receive no damage or lose no momentum. Roar is like a shockwave pulse to move everyone away from you. Zone, our favorite one, allowed you to slow time for a few seconds to navigate a pinpoint maneuver, dodge a car last minute, or just do a perfect tight.
And this makes the game really, really fun. Three kinds of categories of abilities you have in your cars, and you must use tactically, and to make fun.
Think of it kind of like the precursor to Franklin's slow down drive ability in Grand Theft Auto 5 many years later. You built up these abilities to spend them on the field by driving flawlessly and doing cool stuff and not crashing. Plus, back in the day, it really did look amazing for a PS2 and Xbox game. This was one of those games that had tons of advertising and tons of ads and screenshots and magazines.
Yeah, and yeah, this game aged not very well. Yeah, better looking games are everywhere, but the gameplay was fun. Sometimes I miss this type of games. Yeah, me too. Today games feel more like work than fun, and this game, Midnight Club 3, is fun pure. No, you don't have maybe memorable characters, but the gameplay in this game is that what you play for, and not for some overarching stories. They could maybe be cool, but are more like a movie than a real game. And this year, fun pure.
And it all looked too glossy and sharp and shiny and cool to be true. But thankfully, the final game did look pretty damn good, even if we all had really crappy TVs back then. The cars were shiny and high quality and high polygon count for the time.
Funny anecdote for me. I played on this old pipe, on this old kind of TV. You know, this the Röhrenfernseher. I don't know how I pronounce this in English here at the moment, but yeah, I know what. But this was very, very fun at the time.
Streets had a realistic sheen to them. The cities themselves weren't really too detailed on the.
Yeah, I lost my thread. I mean, I played on this old type of TV until I was 12 years old.
Street level, but the
this
actual
means
design
very long.
and intricacy of them was pretty impressive, with tons of shortcuts and the alternate routes you could take, and just a good amount of variety to the different areas. The frame rate is also solid. On PS2, it strained a bit when there were a lot of cars and a lot of chaos, but it still all managed to feel incredibly fast and satisfying to play. Even going back...
And the game feels fast. So, I mean, it feels very, very fast. Much more, many modern arcade racer games feel slow even if you drive 300 kilometers per hour, and it feel like you drive 50 kilometers per hour. And this is not actually fun.
Back and playing it now. By the time you get to rank A cars, the speeds are out of control. It's insane. You can pull off some truly ridiculous jumps if you build up enough speed that like almost break the game, but it all handles it all fairly well. All these things put together, it just made for fun, chaotic, fast racing. Now, it wasn't quite Burnout, but it had a good sense of speed with the
Yeah, so this is the grandfather of Burnout Paradise. Or of the Burnout series, maybe.
And the effects. It had a dash of the vibes from the old Rush games, actually, but with that cool people street racer vibe. Like a lot of the things Rockstar makes, really, it was all tastefully balanced and a blast to play and progress through.
But this game was really, really hard as I played this. Yes, I remember Burnout, yeah. I play in my free time often Burnout Paradise, by the way. It's a very fun game too, and the crashes, oh, they are fucking awesome. I love the crashes in this game.
For hours and hours. The game also featured an arcade mode if you just wanted all action, as well as a pretty fun race editor and split screen.
I use him. I make the craziest road of this year.
Screen multiplayer options. What was big for a lot of people that were lucky enough to actually have an internet connection at that time for gaming were the online modes. People genuinely really loved them, thanks to the obviously fun gameplay, but also the clan stuff.
How are you?
You could form your own groups where here they were called clubs. Get it? You know, online mode was embraced for the good, simple fun and the ability to have these groups, and the servers stayed.
And this was the time who online playing gaming puts up, and there was the time who online playing makes fun actually, and not is only rage.
Stayed alive until 2014 when Rockstar finally shut them down. Now, from what we roughly know, Midnight Club 3 sold over 1 million copies and was embraced on all platforms, including a PSP version that I actually vaguely remember being pretty cool. In 2006, we saw the follow-up release, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix, which packed a pretty generous amount of new things. Most notably, a whole new map, the city of Tokyo, which was previously featured in Midnight Club 2.
So, you can say the first DLC game, without being a DLC, but being a full game.
And was totally awesome. Here, this version, it was slightly modified, and it was just a blast to engage with. You know, along with the addition of 24 new vehicles, new races and modes, and a bunch of new licensed tracks from artists very much of the time.
Oh, fuck. This... I almost cry because you have so much new stuff, And how much maybe you pay at the time on this on top? 5 or 6 euro maybe on top, or become a full new game. And today I must cry because this was a good time.
Like Block Party, Damian Marley, The Game, and Sean Paul. This was the version a lot of people played, and it was the definitive version, really. You were actually able to transfer your saves from the previous version too, which was really nice for the time. Many people raced their hearts out in these games and have really fond memories worth highlighting. From the really good music all around to the customization that got pretty over the top and allowed you to get like insane gold 20-inch rims, to the city worlds worth blazing through. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition was damn good, and we wanted to just take a quick trip down memory lane. We also just wanted to highlight this because after this, of course, we saw the release of Midnight Club Los Angeles.
And this is the awesome game 2, by the way. Midnight Club LA. Even LA burns today, but this has nothing to do with this. This is the awesome game 2.
But then that was it. Rockstar definitely seemed to have turned away from the Midnight Club series, along with a lot of other games they made, to focus on more storytelling, more online modes, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption have great stories. Yeah, I don't argue against this. But outside of Rockstar, the other studios here, Ubisoft or EA, they make mostly more movies who you can rock your person, but don't make really good games anymore.
You know where the history of Rockstar game goes, but there was a time when they were just cranking out weird, quirky, fun racing games that, at first glance, yes, it very much looked like all the other games that were street racing games at the time, but when you dove into it, when you dipped your toe into it, you could tell there was a little bit of that Rockstar touch to it, a little bit of classiness, a little bit of simplicity, and a really good grip on the fun factor.
Sometimes it's simple, better than completely, what's the word? Completely complex.
But thanks for allowing us to get nostalgic for a bit. We like to do this sometimes with certain games. So we want to hear from you guys in the comments, of course. What do you think about the Midnight Club series? Which one should we talk about next if we have a chance? I vote for 2, but maybe some of you guys want us to highlight Los Angeles. Let us know. What was your favorite city? What was your favorite car? Do you have like a memory of decking out a Supra? Anything like that, anything you want to share, we definitely want to hear from you in the comments. And of course, if you want us to tackle any other games from this time period that you're nostalgic for, definitely drop that as well. But if you enjoyed this little trip, this little nostalgic trip down memory lane,
so I've definitely enjoyed. I don't know.
Clicking the like button's all you gotta do. We would really appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing because we put out videos of all kinds every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you.
Yeah, no problem. So I enjoyed this this video here. So it was a big trip on nostalgia here, maybe. But if I take my PS2 again in function and have, I don't know, the game